conspiracy out there, and it gets wrapped up in concerns about the federal government. Now, there's a long history of that. That's in our DNA. The United States was born suspicious of some distant authority.
But let me just jump in. Is it fair to call it a conspiracy? I mean,
well, yeah.
There's a lot of people really believe this deeply, that they just don't. No. They just don't trust you.
I'm sorry, Cooper. Yes, it is fair to call it a conspiracy. What are you saying?
All right, ladies and gentlemen, we all remember that from the town hall meeting just last week. Welcome back. We are joined, I'm proud to say, by the governor of the great state of Texas, Greg Abbott, of course, former Texas Attorney General and former judge in the Texas Supreme Court. Hello, sir.
Hey, good to be with you again.
It's great to talk to you again, sir. Thank you. Happy New Year. All right, I played that because you are leading the charge for a convention of the states. Tell the folks out there what you are hoping to accomplish, what that entails, and you want Texas to pass legislation to be on board with that.
Well, first, part of the need for it is because we have presidents who have been overreaching and assuming powers that they were not authorized to have under the United States Constitution. Second, we have a Congress that is not doing its job. Think about this. Under the Constitution, it is Congress, under Article 1, that is assigned the duty of passing laws in this country, and yet more than 90% of the laws in this country are not passed by Congress. Instead, they are passed by administrative agencies that are unaccountable and unelectable. And then third, we have a judiciary. Now think about this. We have 27 amendments to the United States Constitution, and yet the Constitution is amended every single year by unelected 5 judges in robes on the United States Supreme Court. The way government is taking place in the United States right now is contrary to the way the founders structured it, the way the architects of the Constitution structured it. So what the architects of the Constitution did do, they included Article 5. The authors of the Constitution knew that the Constitution would need to be amended to keep up with the way that the country evolved. And one way we can amend that is through Congress bringing up ideas, but of course they don't want to regulate themselves. The other way we can do it under Article 5 of the Constitution is states holding a convention. It's called a Convention of States,
right.
And it would require at least 2/3 of the states agreeing to do this. We are almost there right now as we speak today on 2/3 of the states agreeing that we need to have a constitutional gathering to propose a constitutional amendment for a balanced budget amendment. When we have a not spendthrift, but a spendy Congress who has put us $18 trillion into debt, that is time when people need to get a rein in on an overreaching, overspending Congress. We need to have that Convention of States at least to consider a balanced budget amendment, as well as other proposals that I've offered up.
I was going to say, you've offered up quite a number of other proposals, but I want to concentrate on, you said we're almost there, 2/3. Can you give me a number where you are?
Right. We, believe it or not, in the United States, it requires 2/3 of the states, right, which is 34. Just a few years ago, we were at 32, just two states short. Well, the timeline ran out for some of those states.
Right.
We're back down to 27. So we need 7 more states, but many of these are solid Republican states like Oklahoma and South Carolina that should be easy to get to join us in this effort.
Okay, fair enough. And of course, I know that you feel Barack Obama plays a big role in some of the other proposals you've made, but I want to get to the election and talk about the native son, Ted Cruz. Does he have your vote? Does he have your support?
I have not endorsed yet. The reason is because we're not yet to the Texas primary, and I want to ensure that all of the candidates who are in contention understand the needs of the state of Texas and understand the importance of securing our border, of following the Constitution, of taking the country back down the pathway of the rule of law. And so I'm going to continue a conversation with all of these candidates, and will strongly consider endorsing before the Texas primary, which is on March the 1st.
But do you feel that Cruz meets your criteria so far?
Well, Ted, I can't remember if you knew this or not, but Ted Cruz worked with me when I was the Attorney General. He was my first Solicitor General, And I had the opportunity to work side by side on a daily basis with him for about 5.5 years. And I know that he is a person who's completely dedicated to our Constitution. He understands the importance of rule of law in this country. He's a very principled conservative, and he aligns very closely with where I am. But I'm still going to keep my options open until we get closer to the Texas primary.
Have you talked to Trump, and what do you think of him? How's he doing in Texas?
You know, I know Donald Trump. Donald Trump has been a supporter of mine. I have talked to him, and I like Donald Trump, and obviously he has injected a lot of issues into the conversation during the primary process that are pivotal, and obviously he has tapped into a lot of concerns that our fellow Americans have, and so he's played a vital role. And again, I want to continue to see how the candidates discuss the issues, address the issues. I would like to hear Donald Trump talk more about ways in which he would get the country back to the founders' intent with our Constitution. You know, the more our leaders have drifted away from the Constitution, the more the country gets into challenges. We need a president who will guide us back onto the pathway of the United States Constitution.
Very quickly, 30 seconds. Were you encouraged by the oral arguments in the union dues case yesterday before the Supreme Court?
I was, but having been to the Supreme Court many times, I know never to get too carried away. However, this is a no-brainer. I mean, this is confiscation of people's money to force them to pay dues into a union they choose not to join. And so this should be an absolute no-brainer for the United States Supreme Court.
We will see. Governor,
I hope they rule the correct way.
Governor, thank you very much, sir. Pleasure and an honor to speak to you. Coming up next is the